maybe a little tipsy, but I have been wanting to ask you something. Why did Miss Emily ask you low-life Irishers to be her pallbearers instead
of, Miss Angelina, just the last bit of nose thumb in that proper grammar society. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, here comes one now. It's that part of this Dickinson relation, Negotia Flint. Her husband's first name ought to be skinned from what I hear from their Irish girl. Ralph, good evening. Good evening, Mrs. Flint.
I beg your pardon?
Good evening, Mrs. Flint.
The Irish of Amherst are rather forward, don't you think? So disrespectful. In Monson, the Irish of my acquaintance are better trained to speak only when they're spoken to, if they know what's good for them.
What soft, cherubic creatures these gentlewomen are. One would as soon assault a plush or violate a star.
Is that an Emily Dick poem? That's rich. If she wasn't timid at speaking ill of the Irish herself.
Oh, but she liked even less the stuffy, sniffy old Puritans.
Even if she came from a clan whose noses were stuck in a sneer from the time they left their mother's womb, Miss Emily's verses, her poems, they have me in a trance.
Well, you know, as for me, it's true. The Dickinsons may have been hobnob schnobbers, but, and you all know this story, Miss Emily's father, lawyer Edward Dickinson, he represented Henry Jackson and my brother after they saved me as a girl, just a girl, from being sold into slavery by that old crone, that wicked, evil man from South Carolina.
Yeah, well, he did more for your people than he did for mine.
Well, you were never almost sold into slavery. Will you stop your belly aching? Give me a drink of that, Ruffle.
A genuine crank, that one. Here, have a swig.
Cashman, what the devil are you doing cavorting with my Angelina?
You saved her from slavery, gentlemen. She's no possession of yours.
Oh, will you fellas stop that squabbling? It is a funeral.
Cashman, Jackson here has turned Miss Dickinson's blacksmith poem into such a song.
That's right, he has. You know, my great-grandfather was a blacksmith. Listen to these words from one of Miss Emily's poems.
Cashman, I thought you loved Miss Emily.
I told you ladies not to show those poems to anyone, much less him.
Don't you still love her work, though, whether I've seen them or not? Listen. There you see a soul at the wide heath, now crouch within the door. Red is the fire's common tint, but when the vivid ore has vanquished flame's condition, it quivers from the forge without color, but the light of unanointed blaze. Least village has its blacksmith, whose anvil's even ring stands symbol for the finer forge that soundlessly tugs within, refining these impatient ores through hammer and with blades, until the designated light repudiates the forge, until the designated light repudiates the forge.
I'm still mad, but you definitely added a good note.
Maggie, Your evasion of my earlier question on the subject leads me to believe you know more than you are saying about how Dennis Cashman came to be in possession of Miss Emily's letters and poems.
Well, Dennis, Tom, I must come clean with you. Miss Emily asked me to store some of her papers in a trunk I keep in the Dickinson's attic. And you know, Dennis is always flirting with me. And you also know he bears a terrible grudge against old Mr. Dickinson, although I never knew why exactly. Well, I let him know that I was the guardian of Miss Emily's papers, and he asked me if he could see them. Well, I used to bring him handfuls of them, and then he would copy them out.
Handfuls?
Well, yes, I think at first he wanted to use them to blackmail Miss Emily and her father. But then he became bewitched by her poems. You know, he always loved poetry as a boy.
Well, I remember he used to recite limericks when he was kicking me in the teeth when I was 5 and he was 10. But blackmail, Maggie, really? Why would Dennis Cashman want to blackmail that? Oh, now I remember. There was a time when Dennis Cashman thought that old Squire Dickinson had designs on his wife Maureen. He was endlessly obsessing about it, plotting stratagems of revenge. Really quite a laugh to think that old cantankerous Calvinist would have the imagination to commit infidelity, especially with a thorny rosebush like Maureen Cashman. Oh, she was the homeliest colleen that ever tipped her way out of Tipperary. Well, I understand, Maggie, now about the poems in the trunk. But tell me, how did he get a hold of her letters?
Well, Dennis is very thorough. Sometimes he had me copy them out, both the incoming and the outgoing.
Oh, and the outgoing and the incoming as well?
Yes. But I would carefully replace them back in Miss Emily's bedroom while she was downstairs baking.
Baking? Oh, how very sly of you, Maggie. Every fox in Amherst knows nothing distracts Miss Emily from her baking.
Well, I was just upstairs cleaning out the sewage in the upstairs rooms.
Oh, letters purloined under the cover of night soil. Bravo, Maggie. You ought to take up a career in sanitary espionage.
Well, sometimes he would give your boy, Billy, a few pennies when he was her messenger, and then they would be directly diverted to him.
My own boy
Yes.
commandeered into Cashman's cabal? Oh, Lord have mercy on us. Lord.
Well, he also made arrangements with that black lady, Miss Angelina Palmer, who works down at the post office.
Oh, the bigoted buffoon Dennis Cashman, an equal opportunity employer. That's rare. Oh, what else did you have Dennis Cashman do? Hide in the hall closet and take dictation while Miss Emily was being courted by suitors like Judge Lord?
Now stop it, Tom.
Stop it yourself, woman! You should be ashamed of yourself. You have violated the trust of a decent and loving lady who was not only our employer but our friend. You will suffer for this, Maggie. How could someone like you fall in with a ruffian like Dennis Cashman?
Fall is what I did. Tom, you shouldn't be cross with me. I tried to stop it, but Dennis said that he would reveal my complicity to Miss Emily and Miss Lavinia, and that would be the end of my employment in Amherst or anywhere else within the telegraph of the town wags. So I complied with him.
Another hen bitten by that snake Cashman!
Well, that's